now, it's CSL, Charlotte Sports Live.
Hey there, welcome to an action-packed and very late Charlotte Sports Live. Mike Lissette here. Thank you so much for staying up with me as we get you set for the Panthers and Eagles Sunday in Philly. Plus, earlier today, we had the Hornets. They had their hands full against the best team in the NBA at the Spectrum Center. But first, there was an ACC champion to crown at Bank of America Stadium on Saturday night. 17th ranked Clemson making themselves right at home here in Charlotte. Number 8 SMU, not so much, at least early on. After they fumbled their first possession, the Tigers came right back with 2 straight touchdowns. This was the first. Cade Klubnik to Bryant Wesco. Clemson actually led 21-7 after 1. Third quarter, Clemson still appeared to be in control. Klubnik to Jake Brinnenstuhl. That's a 5-yard score. It was 31-14 Tigers going into the fourth. But that is when the Mustangs came alive. A minute and a half into the quarter, Kevin Jennings going to find Matthew Hibner. It's a 20-yard pass to the end zone. It's just a 10-point game. A bunch of punts and a Mustangs field goal later. SMU on the attack again. Jennings to Roderick Daniels. Folks, we are tied at 31. We had just 16 seconds left. It looked like we were going to overtime. However, Adam Randall had other plans. Ensuing kickoff, he takes it back 41 yards down to the Clemson 45. 17-yard pass completion later, Tigers had a chance to win it in regulation. It's true freshman Nolan Hooser. He's from Cornelius, and as time expires, he is your hero. The 56-yarder is good. Don't know how they did it, but they did. 34-31, Clemson wins the game, and all that comes with it. They get the conference crown and a spot in the college football playoff.
He goes, coach.
Who would have thunk it? Checking out other championship game scores starting in the SEC. We had number 5 Georgia taking on number 2 Texas. UGA was able to hang on in OT 22-19. Both the Bulldogs and Longhorns will be in the playoff, but Georgia will get the first round bye. In the Big 12, we had 16th ranked Iowa State taking on number 15 Arizona State. This was a rout. Sun Devils are champs in their first season in the Big 12. The score was 45-19. Big 10 now. It's number 3 Penn State against the top-ranked Oregon Ducks. Oregon pulling it out 45-37. And then, from Friday night right here on Fox Charlotte, number 20 UNLV met number 10 Boise State in the Mountain West title game. The Broncos won it 21-7. They too are playoff bound. Well, just when you thought it could not get any worse for the Hornets, in comes the team with the NBA's best record. That's the surprising Cleveland Cavaliers. Going into today, they had played 23 times this season. They already had 20 wins. Charlotte, meanwhile, just trying to make it through a game without getting hurt. They only had 9 players available for this one. They were without Nick Richards and Tijan Salon, the newest additions to the injured list. They were out of uniform, and the Cavs came out attacking. In fact, they outscored the Hornets 40-18 in the first quarter. Evan Mobley, in particular, unstoppable, scoring 23 in the opening period, as Charlotte found itself in a big hole 12 minutes in. Credit Charles Lee's squad, though. They refused to be embarrassed at home. Mark Williams kicking off a 9-0 run in the second. He scored 12 in limited action, just 11 minutes as the Hornets got the deficit to within single digits. Second half, Brandon Miller doing whatever he could. He led the way for Charlotte with 25, but it came on just 7 of 21 shooting. Hornets never led in this game, save for early in the first. Mobley, too big, too good. The big man taking advantage of Charlotte's lack of size. He finished with a career-high 41 as Charlotte goes down for the 8th straight game. Cavs win it by the count of 116-102.
I would say
Hornets back to it today at Indiana. You got a tip time Sunday at 5 p.m. Well, back here in Charlotte, it took them nearly 3 weeks, but tonight we're hearing UNC Charlotte has finally found its new head football coach. Sources confirmed to CSL the Niners are expected to reach a deal with Tim Albin, who is currently the head coach at Ohio University. Interestingly enough, earlier Albin led the Bobcats to the first MAC title since 1968. It was a 38-3 win Saturday over Miami. It capped off the school's 3rd consecutive 10-win season. In total, Albin went 33-19 in 4 years at the school. He replaces Biff Poggi at Charlotte, who was fired after going 6-16 in 2 seasons. Not to be outdone, the App State football team has also found its new leader. School announced Saturday that it has hired South Carolina offensive coordinator Dow Loggins. He replaces Sean Clark, who was fired after going 5-6 this past season. Loggins has extensive coordinating experience and coaching experience with stints at both the college and pro level.
It's just football, man. Like a corporate of putting the work in and, blessings from God. I've been healthy this year and trying to maintain that.
Well, still to come on CSL, J.C. Horn is as healthy as he's ever been in his NFL career. Up next, we're going one-on-one with the Panthers star cornerback. This ahead of his big battle against A.J. Brown in Philly. Charlotte Sports Live returns with college basketball. 20th-ranked UNC was desperately in need of a win. The Eagles have dropped 3 in a row going into today's game with Georgia Tech. Second half, Yellow Jackets play with all kinds of confidence. Lance Terry on target from outside. He had 22, Tech up 3. North Carolina would respond, and they do it by being quicker. R.J. Davis gets ahead of the pack. He's got 2 of his 16. UNC up 4 with 4.5 left. Then, with under 3 to play, this really hurt the Yellow Jackets. Elliot Godot did not care about the odds. He was 0 for 5 to that point from downtown. That one went down as the Tar Heels would hit their free throws the rest of the way. They survive and take it 68-65. UNC now just 5-4 this year. Elsewhere, Clemson coming off a stunning win over 4th-ranked Kentucky this past week. Tigers went to Miami today. First half, they were playing the game the right way. Chase Hunter moving without the basketball. He gets 2 of his game-high 18. Tigers up 1 at the break. Second half, Victor Lachlan caught fire. Not 1, but 2 threes. He had 12, 1 of 3 from Clemson to finish with double figures. Tigers getting a little breathing room there. And then just when it seemed like Miami had a chance, Clemson went on a great final push. We're talking a 9-2 run in the final 2.5 minutes. Another big win for Clemson. It was their 6th in a row. They take it 65-55. Back to the Panthers, there is no denying J.C. Horn is the top dog in the Panthers secondary. I mean, come on. Teams try to avoid him at all costs. And with Shaq Thompson out, he also knows he's the heartbeat of Carolina's defense. This past week, Gabe McDonald caught up with him on a number of subjects, including how he's going to keep A.J. Brown down. It is week 14 in the NFL, but for one Charlotte couple, this is it. They call it their Super Bowl. They've been putting in the hours, cutting no corners, and sparing no expense. It's their time to shine, and while they do make a profit, it is all for a greater good. You'll have to forgive the Griffins. Though they're big football fans, they're always a bit distracted whenever there's a Panthers game on TV.
The whole time I'm always like, oh, look, they're on the sideline now. Like, there's one.
Learn more about how they're making a difference.
There have been a lot of those moments recently. With the NFL in the midst of its 2-week My Cause, My Cleats campaign, the Griffins have seen their work displayed all over the country. But it has not been easy.
We nap in shifts, and that's how we've kind of been getting through this.
The fun got started in October. That's when the first player call came into the studio. Their custom shoe business in Charlotte they opened just last year.
We did a couple here or there.
But then came another call, the call. It was from the Panthers, and they wanted shoes for all of their coaches. And oh yeah, they wanted them fast.
We did 29 pairs in 24 hours, which in our industry, from talking to other artists, is something that's never been done. In that quick of a turnaround for that large of an order.
In the end, the Griffins just couldn't say no. This was their time for their art to go on display, all while bringing awareness to causes important to Carolina players like Trevin Wallace, Miles Sanders, and J.J. Jansen.
Being able to outreach and bringing acknowledgement to a bunch of different awarenesses just through our art, and with the NFL giving us their platform to do so is incredible.
Like the Mona Lisa, it's a sight to behold.
We sat there and we lined them all up next to our Christmas tree, and just looking at them, it was like, wow.
Certainly something worth a second look.
We truly are making a difference out there on the field.
Even with a big game going on. I gotta get one of those custom shoes there. Well, turning to the tail of the tape for the Panthers and Eagles, if games are played on paper, the Panthers might not as well get off the bus. The Eagles are a dominant offensive squad. They're 4th in total yards, 1st in rushing, and 7th in points scored. For all the praise, and we've given a lot of it to Bryce Young of late, the Panthers' offense is still in the bottom 3 in the league. Meanwhile, on defense, Carolina gets no relief. Philadelphia is the best on that side of the ball. They're 1st in yards allowed and 4th in points allowed. On On the other hand, as you can see, Carolina has had very few answers for opposing offenses this season. So Philly is famous for its play on the field this season, but historically, they're also famous for something non-football related. We're talking about cheesesteaks. And when it comes to the two most important spots in the city, we're going to let Gabe McDonald decide who the victor is.
All right, so we're here.
But the real question is Gabe a winner now, about 6 hours later after eating that cheesesteak? That's the question. He doesn't get a crown, he get a cheesesteak. But find out who is getting my crown next. Oh, I don't know how they did it, but they did. Talking about Clemson at the ACC Championship. The 17th ranked Tigers making themselves right at home early on at Bank of America Stadium here at Charlotte. Number 8 SMU, not so much, at least at the start, after they fumbled their first possession. The Tigers came right back with 2 straight touchdowns. This was the first. Cade Klubnik to Bryant Wesco. Clemson actually led 21-7 after 1. Third quarter, Clemson still appeared to be in control. Klubnik to Jake Brindstone. That's a 5-yard score. It was 31-14 Tigers going into the fourth. But that is when the Mustangs came alive. A minute and a half into the quarter, Kevin Jennings finding Matthew Hibner. 20-yard pass to the end zone. It's a 10-point game. Bunch of punts and a Mustangs field goal later. SMU on the attack again. Jennings this time to Roderick Daniels. We are tied at 31. We had just 16 seconds left. It looked like we were going into overtime. However, Adam Randall had other plans. Ensuing kickoff, he takes it back 41 yards down to the Clemson 45. 117-yard pass completion later, Tigers had a chance to win it in regulation. It's true freshman Nolan Hooser. He's from Cornelius, and as time expires, he is your hero. The 56-yarder is good. They did it. 34-31, the final. Clemson wins the game, and all that comes with it. They've got the conference crown and a spot in the college football playoff.
He goes, coach. Has he got the leg for this? I said, we're about to find out. And man, what a way to win it. First of all, let me just say thank you to the good Lord. What a game. Hey, listen, that's a playoff football team. SMU, they better be in the dang playoffs. What a comeback by those guys. But listen, I'm proud of our guys. We fought all night to get back here, to get a 10th win, to win this thing for the 8th time in 10 years, and head to the playoffs for the 7th time. Man, the heart of our guys. You know, we've been so close, but man, we found a way.
That was a fun one. Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for the Hornets, in comes the team with the NBA's best record. That's the surprising Cleveland Cavaliers. Going into Saturday, they had played 23 times this season. They already had 20 wins. Charlotte, meanwhile, is trying to make it through a game without getting hurt. They only had 9 players available for this one. And without Nick Richards and Tijon Salon in uniform, the Cavs came out attacking. In fact, they outscored the Hornets 40-18 in the first. Evan Mobley in particular was unstoppable, scoring 23 in the opening period as Charlotte found itself in a big hole 12 minutes in. Credit Charles Lee's team, though. They refused to be embarrassed at home. Mark Williams kicking off a 9-0 run in the second. He scored 12 in limited action, just 11 minutes. The Hornets got the deficit to within single digits. Second half, Brandon Miller doing whatever he could. He led the way for Charlotte with 25, but it came on just 7 of 21 shooting. Hornets never led in this game save for early in the first. Mobley dominant, the big man taking advantage of Charlotte's lack of size. He finished with a career-high 41 as the Hornets go down for the 8th straight game. Cavs take this one by the count of 116-102.
I would say the competitive spirit of this group was on display today. And you just said it, not a great first quarter. Mobley hit a ton of threes in that first quarter. And I thought that our guys just continued to stick with it. We changed coverages, and, it didn't matter.
It certainly did not. Hornets back to it on Sunday at Indiana. You got a tip time at 5 o'clock. And, of course, the Panthers are in action today. They take on the Eagles in Philadelphia. 10 a.m. BBKL coming your way. And, of course, 1 p.m. the game gets underway right here on Queen City News.
what if the Panthers have a chance to win?
No.
Charlotte Sports
Nope.
Live.
Nope.
Mike, what's that? Mike, I didn't even get it out yet.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for Carolina. The Eagles have the #1 defense in the league. They have the #1 rushing offense in the league. Those two things have been major problems for Carolina. We know last week against Tampa, they could not stop the run. That was one of the big reasons why the Bucs were able to pull through. And we also know that despite all of Carolina's recent success offensively, they're still in the bottom 3 in the league offensively total. This could spell a tough defeat for Carolina. My only wish is that the Panthers don't look at this as a setback. They're just playing a really, really good Eagles team that's the hottest team in the NFL, not named the Detroit Lions right now.
But if we look at this, we have.
I'm looking at it.
Look, I know you're looking at it, but the Panthers have been making improvements. When Kansas City was here, they played those guys close. Bryce Young, he's been looking good. Scrambled, throws a touchdown to Thielen. I mean, there's got to be some silver lining in there somewhere, right?
Yes. I mean, the silver lining is this. Maybe in the weeks prior, the Eagles would have overlooked the Panthers, sort of like the Kansas City Chiefs did a couple weeks ago, and it almost hurt them. Silver lining is the Eagles, I don't think, are going to do that now. They know that Carolina is playing much better. They know that Bryce's decision-makings have been a lot better. They know he's getting good protection from the offensive line. And they know the defense has stepped up, causing all kinds of havoc for quarterbacks. So, yes, I mean, they're going to be prepared. I don't think Carolina is going to sneak up on them today. That's the silver lining, and unfortunately, that means I think the Eagles are going to come out extra focused for this one.
When we look at this, how's the injury report look like? Are we going to have full complement, not as full complement? How will the Panthers look?
Well, the big one that came out yesterday was that Jadeveon Clowney is not going to play. His knee injury sort of regressed a little bit, and he's not going to go. That's a setback for them. Jatavian Sanders, though, there's a possibility he could go. Remember, he took that nasty hit in the game against Kansas City, sat out last week against Tampa Bay. It's good to see that he is in position to possibly make a return today. It'll be good to see him back on the field.
When we look at this, Mike, I know you already said no.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just saying there's a dude that put $3 million on the Eagles to win this game. $3 million with the payout only being $440,000. That's how confident that America is that the Eagles are going to beat Carolina today. I'm not saying that I'm going to put $3 million on the line, but what I am saying is, yeesh, that's a strong hunch there.
Yeah, and I will say at the beginning of the season, I marked this one as one that
you put an L there.
I put an L there. So we had that already set. But when we look at this right now, I think the line was way out there. 13.5 the last time I looked. I'm not saying we're betting or anything, just saying line was 13.5. But do you think they keep it close?
It's legal now. I don't do it, but I'm just saying it's legal.
But do you think they keep it close?
I think it all depends on how they start. And my big concern is that when Carolina gets to Philadelphia and they experience that crowd, you're from that area. This is a crowd that has booed Santa Claus. This is a crowd that once punched a Philadelphia police horse. So this crowd can be nasty, and the players know that going in. That's the thing. They are prepared for it. If they can weather that early storm, I do think they have the ability to keep it close. Now, if Philadelphia comes out roaring, starts scoring right off the top, sort of like Clemson did last night in the ACC Championship game, I don't see an SMU-like recovery. I think it could be a tough situation for Carolina.
All right. Well, we have some other people up in Philly that are handling their own BBKL. But so some in Philly, some here. What do you guys have coming up?
Oh, we got some good stuff. David Monroe has been an emerging wide receiver. He's going to talk to us about how Dave Canales really revived his career, and this is going back to their Tampa days. That's going to be good. We're also talking to J.C. Horn. For all the problems that Carolina has had defensively this season, J.C. Horn has been a bright spot. For the first time in his career, he's been healthy. He's going to talk to Gabe McDonald about that. And also, this is week 2 of the My Cause, My Cleats campaign in the NFL. If you look at the feet of the players, they're wearing these special cleats that are custom made, and they're designed to push out causes and awareness for various issues. I talked to a local business owner that is responsible for all these shoes. This guy is like Santa Claus the night before Christmas. He got 29 orders that he had to do in 24 hours, and somehow he pulled it through. We're going to talk to him about how he did it.
Why am I not surprised that you always talking about the drip? Mike, you always got everything going on.
This
shoes,
drip
everything else.
is expensive. The low price for custom memory, you have to buy the shoes first. The low price, $350, with the upward price of $30,000 to get the right custom shoes. That's a little bit out of the Lissette household price range.
Always bringing the heat. And in the morning, thank you so much. Charlotte Sports Live's Mike Lissette. Don't forget BBKL at 10 o'clock this morning. And